Is 21st of October 2025 software engineering. First, when you make software, there will be software cycle, and each of the phases: feasibility phase, requirement phase, project planning phase, designing phase, implementation phase, and maintenance phase. First, feasibility phase determine if the proposed development is worthwhile. So output of the documentation would be statement of work and market analysis report. And in requirement phase, it usually elicited from user and what the system should do, and its development constraints are defined here. Output will be requirement specification and preliminary user manual. Next step is project planning phase. We need to output will be software quality assurance and cost estimation. It defines what tasks need to be done and what order to do the task and what resources are needed to accomplish the task as defined here. And in designing phase, we change what of requirement to how of design. It includes architectural design, interface design, and so on. We will look it up later, in which order is specifically defined. In which order will specifically define the design. And next step is implementation step. So we are making code, and programming style and coding guidance is important. Source code will come out as result. In test phase, issues on test case, unit testing, system testing, that's what we are going through. Test report and defect report will come out. And last, maintenance step, issues on updating and improving software. Then customer service requests will come out. In requirement phase, there's requirement engineering process, which is there's 4-step requirement elicitation and analysis, validation and management. First, in elicitation and analysis, they do discovery, so interacting with stakeholder and domain requirements find out, and classification and organization. Group related, whether it is group related requirement or organize them into correlated cases. And then we need to prioritize requirement and resolving conflicts. And the requirement specification, it's documented. So later, requirement specification document come out. And validation phase, there's requirement checking validity, which is does the system provide the function which best support the customer's need. That is what we need to check it. And then consistency, requirement conflict. Is there any conflict between requirement? And then completeness or functions required by customer included. And realism, requirement being implemented given available budget and technology, we should check it. And verifiability, requirement is able to check is what we need to check at validation. And management, process of managing change requirement during development is needed. And in design phase, what we should check is there's attribute versus abstraction, whether unnecessary details are removed, and cohesion, if components of each in the module are well connected to each other, and coupling for module for coupling, how interconnected modules are. If a change to a variable in module happens to another module, then low-if coupling is definitely desirable. And testing, we will generate test cases, and there is test coverage accreditation. First, functional test case, what we can do. So there's triangle cases, and there's structural case we can generate, and there is random we can generate it. So, and then coupling type, if you see here, there's data coupling, stamped, content, control common, and cohesion, coincidental to functional. functional is the best, which is calculate invoice total, like single well-defined task that all connected, and cohesion type, yes, cohesion type, and design concept, abstraction, cohesion, complete, 3 things come out. And then as after design, we first do data design, define and database, and then architectural design, major component and system architecture, and then we will specify interfaces, which is document protocol, and then we will make procedural design. Okay, and there's some diagrams come out, and this is requirement engineering process, which is, I told you before, requirement elicitation, discovery, interview stakeholder, and then we understand requirement, and then requirement validation, review prototyping, and requirement management, managing changes. Yeah, this is control program, and this is sequence diagram. And the use case scenario, there's include and extend condition. In software process model, there's descriptive and prescriptive. Thank you.